Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I got something really special for you guys. I really appreciate you for tuning in. But before we get into that, I just want to make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Last video did really well. Let's see if we could duplicate the likes and see if we can get this video out onto the YouTube algorithm and get this some exposure. But aside from that, let's get into it. So I want to make this video today to ask the question, are the New York Knicks good? Like, are they good? I know the season is still new, it's just started, but the Knicks have started with a 4-3 record, which is kind of baffling because the last time the Knicks were like this good was what? 2013, when Carmelo Anthony still played for them, and that was a lifetime ago. In sports, that was decades ago. That was a long time ago. With that record, they are tied for the number 5 spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a better record than some teams we would think of as good, like the Brooklyn Nets. They're tied with teams that we would also consider good, like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Atlanta Hawks, which is really intriguing because when was the last time the Knicks were this good? And so with all those factors in, we have to ask the question, after years of the Knicks being trash and irrelevant, are the Knicks finally turning it around? Are they starting to become good? And Knicks fans, I know you guys are loving this because you guys haven't had a thing to cheer about for years. Like, it's been crickets in New York. Crickets. Or the only thing the New Yorkers had to cheer about was Brooklyn Nets, you know, but they have the name Brooklyn, not New York on them. It just doesn't have that same ring to it. They're like the stepchild of the, you know, the New York Knicks, except for they're way better like every other year. But for as long as I've been around, the Knicks have been irrelevant. Like, I'm in my early 20s and the Knicks have been complete garbage. I don't remember a time that the Knicks were really good except for 2013. I was young back then, right? So I don't, like, in recent years, in recent memory, I don't remember the Knicks being relevant at all. Like, they've been always historically trash. Like, what are the Knicks known for except for Patrick Ewing? Nothing. Like, nobody thinks the Knicks are cool, but people from New York think the Knicks are the world. Like, people will, you know, they think, people from New York think the Knicks are better than they actually are. But aside from that, I digress. This is not a shot. I'm not trying to shoot shots at New York fans, but I think we're finally starting to see the turnaround of the New York Knicks, and I'm here for it. Obviously, I don't expect this progress or this trajectory of change to happen like that. I expect this to happen gradually. In a year and a half, I start to see them become really a threat in the East if they can get another piece too. If this gradual trajectory of them becoming good continues on, maybe they could attract some free agents and boom, they pop off. But I don't expect them to become really good right away. No, I don't expect that. And one of the main reasons why is because the Knicks team is extremely young. The young core of the Knicks is extremely young, right? With the main star being RJ Barrett, who's only 20 years old, right? The Knicks were the youngest team in the league 2 years ago when RJ was drafted. I think they still are the youngest team in the league. Actually, if you extrapolate the average age of the Knicks, it comes out to 23.9 years. So they're babies in regards to everyone else. They're super young. They're literally playing with house money right now, and I'm here for it. Anyways, this is the reason I don't expect them to change right away and become a good team right away, because these guys are still young. They need time to develop and hone their skills. But with that being said, just because they're young, and subsequently just because RJ Barrett is young, it doesn't stop him from being a beast. It doesn't mean he isn't a beast. Actually, he's one of the reasons why the Knicks are as good as they are, which leads me into my next thought, which is the reason the Knicks are good. And the reason the Knicks are good, you guessed it, RJ Barrett. One of the reasons that the Knicks have been this good. The kid's a star. He's a bull. I've been watching RJ since his days at Montverde Academy. Just been following him closely. Just because he's from Canada, I'm from Canada, so I kind of like scouted him out when he was out in Florida playing for Montverde. And then he also showcased his skills at Duke with Zion, and the world knew that he was a good player. But now we are seeing it on the best staged arena in the world in Madison Square Garden for the Knicks. Like, he is good. Simply put, RJ is a superstar in the making. That's all he is. That's the best way I can describe him. He's a superstar in the making. He's averaging, I think, like 19 points right now at 20 years old. Amazing. That's kind of like Luka Doncic kind of esque, right? And just the other day, the Knicks played the Hawks, and RJ dropped 21, 11, and 5 on them. A really good Hawks team, by the way, that I'm gonna make a video on because they are one of the threats in the East, actually. And so if you guys want to see that video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment below, let me know, and I'm gonna make that video in a while here. But aside from that, RJ is contributing greatly to this Knicks team. We are seeing growth every year. He has improved his scoring, rebounding, assists, and also he's committing less turnovers than the previous year. The numbers literally speak for themselves. This kid is growing, and we are witnessing it. We're seeing it. It's like building the house almost. It's a building block. But RJ isn't the only reason the Knicks are good, right? So another reason the Knicks are good and are turning around and becoming relevant again is Julius Randle. Julius Randle came from the Los Angeles Lakers, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and he's been playing in New York. And like RJ, but he's a bit older, we've been seeing growth from him, and he's averaging 21, 10, and 7 for the Knicks, which is amazing, crucial, staggering. He's literally the cornerstone of the Knicks right now. Granted, RJ is going to take that role from him. He serves as the cornerstone for the Knicks right now, figuratively and literally. He's a huge power forward for the Knicks, and he's a guy that the younger guys can look up to. With him being 26 and one of the rare older guys on the team, he is a guy that the younger guys can really look up to, follow, know how to navigate. Like guys like Kevin Knox and all of them, like they need a guy like him to be there. And I think this is perfect for them. I think his leadership is much needed, his age and wisdom. Him and RJ are really starting to turn this franchise around, which I'm here for. I think I pray that RJ can absorb everything he has to teach. I hope when RJ is around him, everything that he does, maybe just like study him from afar, see what you can learn from him, because RJ definitely has a higher ceiling than Julius Randle, right? RJ is 20 years old and he's already averaging 19 points, right? Julius Randle is 26 years old and he's averaging 21 points. One of the best seasons in his career. So the ceiling for RJ is up here and the ceiling for Julius is kind of down here. But right now it's like this. RJ is down here and Julius Randle is up here. So RJ still has a lot to learn, and I hope he can absorb and learn everything he can from Julius Randle, because in the future, RJ is going to be the star of the team. RJ is going to be the cornerstone of the team. He's going to be the franchise player. And so they're turning this franchise around early. They're playing with house money. Literally out here gambling with house money. They got nothing to lose. A bunch of young guys, young gunning it. I love it. Also, another reason we are seeing a resurgence of the Knicks is due to the coaching. Tom Thibodeau, the head coach who coached for the Minnesota Timberwolves a few years back, 2 years ago, I think, that coaching job was not fit for him at all. They got nothing accomplished there. I don't think the circumstances were right for him out there. But ever since he's been in New York, we've seen growth from both his primary players, RJ and Julius Randle, in each of the years he's been there. So he's doing really well right now. To coach these young guys is something that we overlook, right? Because young guys in the NBA, on any sport, aren't like older guys. Older guys and veterans know what it takes and know what is expected of them. And so with that in their system, they don't need to be coached as much, right? While with younger guys, you kind of need to still coach them a little bit more, guide them a little bit more. And I think Tom Thibodeau is doing a stellar job of it. He's one of the 3 reasons the Knicks are turning around and becoming relevant again. And I hope this coaching match with this young core can continue to churn out these wins and turn around this franchise, because we need the Knicks to be good. The Knicks are in the biggest market the NBA has to offer. They are in the biggest city in the States. And when the Knicks are good, the NBA loves it. They are one of the most valued teams in the league. I think they are. I think they're more valuable than the Lakers are, actually. So like the Knicks being bad has been terrible for the league. Like we need the Knicks to be good. As basketball fans, we need the Knicks to be good. The only thing I don't want to happen is I hope the owner, James Dolan, doesn't screw this up for everybody, right? This guy is atrocious. This guy sucks, to say. He's the reason the Knicks have been so bad all these years, right? He's literally, everything that's happened, every good thing that's happened to the Knicks, he's cut in and cut that out. It's like I don't get it, you know? He's the reason free agents don't come to New York. He's the reason KD and Kyrie chose the Nets over the Knicks. Just because he's garbage. He's terrible. He's a terrible owner. He would do all of us, he would do me, you, and the Knicks a favor if he just sold the team. Honestly, like everyone wants him to sell the team. He's a terrible owner. Just leave. Like leave. But aside from that, those are my thoughts on this emerging Knicks team. I'm gonna be watching them in the future to see where this goes, and I hope they can do good. I mean, I don't cheer for them or anything, but when the Knicks do good, the league does good. So I hope they can turn us around and they can keep going and keep churning out wins. But aside from that, Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Thank you guys for watching.